Welcome to the deep dive. Are you, tired of digital clutter? Having a million windows open and constantly losing track of what you were doing.
Oh, yeah. That feeling.
Well, today we're diving into the world of multi-monitor setups. We want to explore how adding more screen real estate can, fundamentally change the way you work and maybe even play.
It's a really common frustration, isn't it? That thing Farhad Manjoo wrote about in the Times where your work just seems to vanish the moment you open another app.
Exactly, like juggling.
Right, trying to juggle too many things and eventually you drop something.
Yeah.
We want to help people ditch that juggling act.
Precisely. And we know our listeners are looking for that clear understanding, those aha moments, without getting totally bogged down in tech specs.
We'll try to avoid the overload, yeah. Deliver those insights.
So let's unpack this.
Mm-hmm.
Why even consider adding more screens? What are the real tangible advantages?
Okay, well, the data is actually pretty compelling. Think about this. Research from Dell, drawing on studies from places like Wichita State, Georgia Tech, University of Utah, they consistently show these significant jumps in productivity with dual monitors.
Significant jumps? Like how much?
Well, the University of Utah study, for example, found, get this, a 44% increase in productivity for text tasks.
44%.
Yeah. And a 29% rise for spreadsheet work, just moving from one screen to two.
Wow. Okay, that's not just a small bump. That's like getting almost half your day more productive just by adding one screen. That's huge.
It really is. And the Georgia Tech study, they even put a time figure on it, nearly 2.5 minutes faster per task with 2 monitors.
2.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe that doesn't sound massive at first glance.
Well, maybe not for one task.
Yeah.
But
Right.
multiply that across all the tasks you do in a day, a week, a year. It really adds up. You could potentially reclaim a pretty significant chunk of your work week.
That makes sense. And it's not just about raw speed, is it? I remember reading something about user satisfaction.
Exactly. The Wichita State study highlighted that. People were just, happier working with 2 monitors. They actually reported being disappointed when they had to switch back to a single screen.
Disappointed.
Yeah.
That says a lot, doesn't it, about the overall experience?
It really does. And look, happier users are often more productive users, right? It makes sense. Multiple monitors just fundamentally change how you multitask.
How so?
Instead of constantly hitting Alt-Tab, flicking between your email, your spreadsheet, your browser, you can just see them all. It's like having your tools laid out right in front of you. Less mental energy spent just navigating.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Right.
Like if you're building a presentation, you could have your slides on one screen,
Right.
your research notes on another,
Yeah.
maybe email open on a third to catch urgent stuff.
Precisely. Or think about video editors. I saw this mentioned online. Maybe you read it. Someone described having their timeline on one screen, the preview window on another, and then all their tools and media bins on a third.
Makes sense. Everything in its place.
Yeah. Or game developers, code on one, the visual interface maybe in the middle, reference docs on the third. Data analysts, programmers, they often spread out code windows, documentation, system monitors. It's all about visibility and efficiency.
Streamers too, right? Managing the broadcast, chat, the game.
Absolutely. They need to see everything at once.
It just sounds like it cuts down on so much mental switching.
Yeah.
That back and forth. I even read about customer service rep somewhere, software spectrum.
Yeah.
They found it much easier to get customer info, less scrolling when they got dual monitors.
Yeah.
That's a direct win for everyone involved.
Totally. And remember that University of Utah study? They even calculated potential cost savings for companies because of that productivity boost.
Right. It pays for itself eventually.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the immersive aspect, especially for gamers, right? Wider field of view. It can really pull you into the game. Lots to talk about that online.
Okay. So the why is clear. Big benefits.
Mm-hmm.
But the how. Choosing the right setup. Let's start with how many monitors. We've talked a lot about going from 1 to 2. What about 3 or more?
Good question. Well, 2 is a huge first step. Yeah, a 3-monitor setup is often seen now as maybe the sweet spot.
The sweet spot. Why 3?
It seems to strike this really compelling balance. You get that increased productivity, the immersion, but it balances with practical things like how much desk space do you actually have and the cost.
Interesting. So maybe 3 is the magic number. Now, a lot of people like a clean desk. Mini PCs are super popular for that. They're tiny. But can those little boxes actually drive multiple monitors effectively?
That's a fantastic question. And the answer is, surprisingly often, yes.
Really?
Yeah. The key is the integrated graphics inside the mini PC's processor. Modern CPUs often have really capable graphics built in. Think Intel's UHD graphics or AMD's Radeon graphics. They can frequently handle 2, sometimes even 3 displays for everyday tasks just fine.
Even 3.
Especially the newer CPUs with Intel Iris X graphics. They're often quite capable of handling 3 monitors smoothly.
So it's not about the size of the box, it's the chip inside.
Mm.
What if you need more graphical punch? Like for, I don't know, video editing across 3 screens.
Right. Well, if you go for a mini PC that has dedicated GPU, a separate graphics card, then you get even more power. That'll drive multiple high-resolution displays, much better, smoother performance for demanding stuff like editing or design work.
Okay, makes sense. And how do you connect them all? Do these mini PCs have enough ports?
Usually you'll find at least 1 or 2 HDMI ports, but you can often expand that. You can use things like USB dual output adapters or docking stations.
Docking stations, are they? Okay.
They can be. Just be aware that some might have bandwidth limitations, which could potentially affect performance on really high-res displays, maybe introduce a bit of lag. Direct connections are generally best for top performance.
Good tip. So for setting up a multi-monitor system with a mini PC, is it better to buy something pre-configured or build it yourself?
Well, if you want something ready to go, there are definitely options. You see models discussed online like Minisforum MS01, GMK Tech K8 Plus, B-Link SER8. Those often support 3 displays out of the box.
So you can just buy one of those?
Pretty much. And then there are companies like Tailored Desktop that offer specifically pre-built systems. Their Windows Pro Triple Monitor system is an example, designed for multi-monitor productivity.
So they optimize everything.
Exactly. It's a convenient buy option. They focus on that optimized mixed performance, comfort, small footprint, cost. Kind of takes the guesswork out.
Sounds hassle-free.
Yeah.
But what if someone likes the guesswork, wants to build their own?
Okay. Well, if you're building, then the graphics card becomes absolutely critical. You need to check its specs. How many outputs does it have? What kind? HDMI, DisplayPort.
Right, the engine driving the displays.
Precisely. And you also need to make sure your power supply, RAM, CPU, the whole system is up to the task of running multiple displays smoothly. There are resources online, John Petty Research, Digital Tigers, places like that, offer guidance.
Got it. Okay, let's talk monitors themselves. Just grabbing any 3 screens off a shelf probably isn't ideal, right? For that seamless experience.
Definitely not ideal. You really want uniformity. Think same size, same resolution across all monitors if possible. Lenovo mentions this. Users discuss it a lot. It just makes the whole view more consistent, less jarring.
Makes sense. What else?
Thin bezels. Big plus.
Mm-hmm.
Minimizes the gaps between screens, makes it feel more like one continuous workspace.
Yeah, those thick black bars can be distracting.
Exactly. Also, consider adjustable stands. Super important for ergonomics. Being able to position them just right for your height and viewing angle. Desky and others really emphasize this.
Good point. Comfort matters for productivity, too.
For sure. And obviously, check compatibility. Make sure the monitor ports match your mini PC or graphics card outputs. And think about your main use. Gaming. Maybe prioritize high refresh rates. Programming. Maybe resolution and color accuracy are more key.
Okay. And we need somewhere to put all these. Desk space is often tight.
Crucial point. You need enough room to position them comfortably without feeling totally cramped. This is where things like adjustable monitor arms come in really handy.
Right, clamp them to the desk.
Yeah, they free up desk space underneath and give you way more flexibility in positioning for ergonomics. Desky talks about this a lot too.
Okay, let's circle back to that 3-monitor idea being optimal. You said it's a sweet spot? Why again? What makes 3 so special?
Well, it just seems to hit that compelling middle ground, you know? You get a really significant boost in your visual workspace compared to 2 monitors, better productivity, more immersion.
More than just 2 gives you.
Right. But it usually stays more manageable than, say, a giant single ultra-wide monitor or going to 4 or more screens, both in terms of the physical space it takes up on your desk and often the cost, too.
Cost, too.
Yeah. And for many typical workflows, 3 screens lets you dedicate space, main task, reference, communication, without necessarily needing super high-end hardware or complex window management software.
Can you maybe paint a picture? Like, how would someone actually use those 3 screens effectively day to day?
Okay, imagine this. Your main thing, writing a report, editing code, working on that spreadsheet that's right in the center monitor, your focus.
Okay, front and center.
Then, maybe on the left monitor, You've got your email and Slack or Teams open. You can glance over, stay connected, but it's not dominating your main view.
Right, peripheral vision almost.
Sort of.
Yeah.
And on the right screen, maybe that's for your research, a web browser with documentation, or perhaps a live data feed you need to monitor. Dedicated zones for different parts of your workflow.
That sounds incredibly organized, like it would really minimize context switching.
That's the goal. For creatives, maybe it's the main edit window center, tools and palettes on one side, project files, or client feedback on the other.
I get it. Very efficient. And you mentioned cost, potentially more cost-effective than one huge screen.
Often, yes. Those really big, high-end ultra-wide monitors can be pretty pricey. You might find that buying 3 decent individual monitors gives you similar total screen area for less money, especially if you don't need top-tier specs on all 3.
Makes sense. Now, we talked about pre-built options and that tailored desktop Windows Pro triple monitor system came up. What makes a system like that appealing for someone wanting this kind of setup?
Well, these commercial systems, they're specifically engineered for this purpose. They aim for that balanced combo, enough performance to drive 3 screens smoothly.
No lag.
Right. Ergonomic features for comfort, a compact design so it doesn't eat your whole desk, and, importantly, a cost-effective price point. They basically package it all up for you.
Takes the guesswork out.
Exactly. It's a ready-to-go solution, ensuring everything works together right out of the box. Convenient.
So it really streamlines the whole process. This has been incredibly insightful. We've gone from feeling overwhelmed by window chaos to seeing the real potential of having, like, a command center right on your desk.
Oh, absolutely. And the research really backs up the benefits: productivity, user experience. Plus, with technology advancing, especially these powerful little mini PCs, it's more achievable than ever.
It definitely makes you look at your single monitor setup and think, I know I'm considering how a second, maybe even a third screen could help my workflow.
And that's the key takeaway, really. Think about your own daily tasks, the apps you juggle. Could that extra visual space help? And knowing that a compact, powerful mini PC can drive that setup, maybe even that 3-screen sweet spot, it's a real possibility now.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Given how affordable and powerful systems like mini PCs are becoming, and the clear productivity gains we've discussed, is that single monitor setup maybe becoming an unnecessary limitation? Is it holding back our work, our creativity? Perhaps it's time to explore what a bit more screen real estate could unlock for you. Thanks for diving deep with us today.